It is really good to see you here as we begin to delve further into and take in some of your information, some of your questions, some of your concerns as we make our way through what is to be a fluid piece of work for the city, meaning that it can adjust and change at any given time. But it's very important that you're here, and the reason that we're having this gathering, if you will, this evening is because we wanted to make sure that citizens in District 1 and District 2 have the opportunity to really be engaged in this process. There have been concerns that had not been the situation, and we vowed that we're not going to let that happen again. If folks feel that that's what happened, then we get to fix that thing. My mama said if you mess something up, you get an opportunity to do just that.
What's interesting is when you go back and look at the 1948 plan or the 1958 plan, when they relegated the blacks over here, you look at it, they knew about the chemicals. They knew about the mainline railroad. They knew about this plant because it was there. They knew all of that when they made that plan up back then.
The city of Lubbock was about to start updating their land use plan for the first time in, 32 years. The last one they did was in 1986. And so they're putting together this plan called the Lubbock 2040 plan. I was kind of shocked to find that all of the industrial zoning is in the east and the north side. And we thought, my God, what's going on here? And so we went back and dug up a bunch of old records at Southwest Collections, things that the city had on their website, a bunch of old comprehensive plans, and just learned that this was part of the city's plan to concentrate industrial zoning and, kind of bad land uses in communities of color.
When you hear statements like, we don't want to deal with the past, that means we don't really want to address that. We want to sweep that under the rug and move forward without us even addressing it. And it's kind of hard to do. If we don't address the issue of what's at hand, how do we move forward from it? I had no idea that a lot of this was even going on in my 26 years of being on the east side and living on the east side at that moment when those plans came out. And so the educational part about it made me really want to be involved and speak out on it, on issues that I had seen growing up all my life, or being a Boys and Girls Club director at that time in East Lubbock. It was just a really eye-opening experience, and I just wanted to have a seat at the table. We had so many of those council meetings is that we don't have a voice because we don't have a seat at the table. After we spoke during those times, I felt like we had more of a seat, but it really did it count.
We appointed a group of more than 30 citizens who worked with some consultants and looked at the way land is being used in our community today, identified the way we would like to change that going forward. It really became more than just land use, it became a comprehensive plan for the community. They made 5 primary recommendations, but there were a number of secondary recommendations and plenty for us to work on. Their work was completed and we accepted it in December of 18. We've got a group of citizens, some that were part of putting the plan together, some that were not, that serve as an oversight group. So they can give us an unwashed opinion as to how we're doing with the implementation.
When they formed the CPAC, we each were allowed to give names from our districts. I tried to give representation or pick representation that was pretty much similar to the makeup of a community. I chose a white male, Hispanic male, and African American woman. The group went throughout the city, and there were some things in it maybe I would have liked to have been different. I know one of the biggest focuses was the north and east areas of the city. And I think it was very important in that because something that really kind of went away from what I wanted, the North and East Lubbock Community Development Corporation lost funding from the city. So I felt like that was a good place to begin addressing the concerns of the northern and eastern portions of the city.
I did attend most of the meetings for the 2040 plan, and I'm glad that they had it in different places. I know all the way back dated to 1923, where we, and I'm saying we as Black people, people of color, being African American or African American descent, only lived in that flats area. We could not live west of Avenue C. My grandmom lived on 16th and Avenue C. I was born in a home, in a house on 16th and Avenue B. And that's all I knew until I was 4 years of age. That's when I moved over. I do know that there have been inequities.
One of the main things we have to do is we have to sell East Lubbock to our people, to everybody. It's not just our people. Everybody's our people. We have to sell East Lubbock. Why can I go just down here and get, a Slurpee, and I can't do it over here but one place? Anything they can do. Remember, Lubbock, East Lubbock is a portion of Lubbock. There's no different town over here that I know of.
No matter where people are, they want the same thing. We heard the same thing. People want their roads, paved. People want sidewalks. People want safe neighborhoods. They want to be able to commute from here to there without issues. It's the same thing.
Being a part of the 2040 Comprehensive Oversight Committee was something that was great coming out of it, because now I know we have that voice that's going to stand up and say, hey, I don't think this is right. I don't think this looks the same. But when I look at the CPAC committee, I looked at how many of those people on that committee actually stood up and said, hey, what about the industrial zoning that's been around our neighborhood since 1943 or 1923, when we had the ordinance that separated African Americans from the rest of the community? Why are we still going with the same plan?
One of the action items that came out of the comprehensive plan was to update our zoning. It's really since the 70s that it's been looked at in whole. Certainly there have been tweaks to it since then.
This is the initial part of the process. My concern was when they were having the stakeholders meeting, when they were calling for community stuff like that, y'all, we didn't show up. But I'm glad you're here now, so I know what you can do.
It's just so many years of being overlooked, so many years of this stuff, and it's not just Lubbock, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like when it might not be, it sounds like they're not changing the map through this process. There are opportunities to change the map.
There you go.
And it's just like, when are they going to do it?
Well, here's the deal.
When are they going to do it?
Here's the deal is, where we are now didn't happen overnight.
No, I completely understand that.
So
and that's
it's
because,
a process to
Yeah.
begin moving in a different direction. It is. There are differences in the city. There's older portions of the city, and there's newer portions of the city. And really, in the 2040 plan, there wasn't a lot to really drill down and address those things in the older portions of the city. And my concern is that if you don't address the things that are concerned in the older areas of the city, those newer portions, guess what, are going to become the older portions of the city. Everybody likes new and bright. That's what happened in Central Lubbock. So I think that that's something that we could have done a better job of drilling down on that. But I think the opportunity with the Unified Development Code, in addition to being able to make some changes and make sure that we focus and some of those things that we want to have in the newer portions get done in the older areas of the city.
With the changes, no, there needs to be changes. Not no with the changes, some things are being done, a small amount of things are being done. Because I know Sheila Patterson Harris is doing some things. She was able to show us some things we're doing industrially, getting a bigger fence up and something like that. And Pico. It can be better than that. We're better than that. I believe the city can be better than